everybody? Welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown. Put my hat on so you can't see my messed up quality hair. Guys, welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown, a sports talk show devoted to the movie Trivia Schmoedown. I'm Jay Wade. We don't have Double D here this week. I don't. He didn't bring me my milk and cookies when I told him to. I've got him locked in the basement right now in the racks. But no, he had to go meet someone very important. So he could not be here. He had to meet this person. So he will be back next week for sexy numbers and all the goodness that we get with him. But we've got Andrew ASG in the house. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Yeah, it's great to see you, and of course your magnificent refrigerator. Yes, absolutely. It is also great to see Suge Knight. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Jay? Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. You told me that ASG was going to be here, so I could not miss opportunity to argue with him. So I was like, yep, I will be there with bells on.
Dude, anytime I can help out a fellow Schmoedown fan, I will be happy to do so. And we've got Aaron back again. How you doing, man?
I am not here. I am not here to purposely argue with anybody, but I am happy to be back. Thank you for the invite.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't intend. Well, I should take that back. Frenchie, I intentionally try to argue with all the time because it's fun. He thinks he wins more than he does, but he really doesn't. But all right, guys, we as usual, we have a game here called Hot Matches. It's a hot potato style thing where we talk about the week's matches. And Frenchie's sitting backstage there with his little timer. And whenever the timer goes off, whoever is talking is out of the game and off screen. The consequences and rewards come into play during the interview. Okay, guys, let's get right into this because I've been waiting for this match for probably a couple years. Alex Damon and Molly Damon playing in the Star Wars tournament. Oh, it did not turn out the way I personally wanted it to go. I just would have liked to see Molly just kind of take that victory, but it was a very good match. Andrew,
It's fine.
Do you want to be called Andrew?
I don't care. Yeah, you can call me Andrew, ASG, whatever.
All right, Mark, what did you think? No, ASG, what did you think of this match here, man? Were you excited for this?
To be honest, all the Star Wars stuff goes over my head, so I just I like a competitive match though. They did well, interesting challenge, which I thought it was interesting that they did it in the middle of the question. That's new. But, it was overall a good match. And, Alex really seemed to still be in great form and he's ready to go.
Yeah. Suge Knight, what do you think of this match? Were you looking forward to it? Who did you want to win? And what did you think of the challenge in the middle of the question?
I mean, well, obviously, I was hoping Molly Damon would win simply because I wanted to see three women in the semis of the Star Wars match. That would have been amazing. We had Laura Kelly, Nikki DiMolanta, and Molly Damon. But Alex won. Like ASG said, it was a great match, competitive match. So I was happy with it. As far as the challenge, challenges are made. Just sometimes weird challenges we don't understand. Sometimes it's just they make a challenge and you're just like, okay, you're in the moment. This is why you make the challenge. I saw where they were going with it, but wasn't really sure. Again, like ASG, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I like it, but I'm not when you challenge something, unless I really know it, I don't know what they're challenging.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, look, Alex is trying to get to the top, and he has a pathway. He has a pathway that he has to get through to get there to get his belt back. It's gonna be very interesting to see where he goes from here, and also see where Molly goes from here. Molly is, I believe, 1-4, 1-5, I believe. Adam, with
she's 1-4 now.
1-4, so she's 1-4. Yeah. So she's bottom tier of the Schmoedown. It doesn't mean she's bad. It's just she's in that lower tier. So she's not gonna be getting close to a title shot very soon. So she's gonna have to do some work to get back up there and get into that into
And I just want to say, it's not that I'm not a fan of the Star Wars matches; they just go over my head in terms of being able to follow along. Because I see that in the chat that you put there.
I used to play along; those were my favorite matches to play along to. I don't even try anymore. Aaron, what was your takeaway from this one?
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I think both of them showed up and played really well. Unfortunately, I think, to me at least, this is the match that definitively puts Molly in that second sector where I don't think any of the Star Wars competitors are bad per se, because they're all very good and they all put up high scores. But we have, Wit, Molly Damon, Joseph Scrimshaw, till he retired, Ken Knapsack, these players who are super, super good, but at a certain point, they're just not to the top and they're not getting the wins despite playing well. And unfortunately, this was another loss for her, despite playing really well. Alec was just that bit better. The challenge was interesting, but I think for me, it still serves the purpose of, I think it's smart that they're having Wit manage the Star Wars matches, because even though he got confused, he still knew in that moment more than Kaiser ever would have to try and front something like that. So at least he was making the attempt to go for it for his player. It didn't work, but he tried.
Is it because Kaiser's not? I mean, I do know for sure that Kaiser is busy.
Yes, yeah.
I know that for sure. But this question is like, do we know for sure that he's too busy to he's not able to manage certain matches, or is he saying that and then picking the best person from the faction that he thinks would manage that specific match? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, excuse me, just hit puberty there for all y'all. Obviously, I don't think that's the case, but it's funny to think about.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a bad move.
Asked him.
And the thing about having such a strong faction like he does is, in the event where you're someone like him who has a job that keeps him busy and keeps him away from a certain number of matches, you have such a well-rounded squad of not just players, but like Wit is a tactician, so that you can put someone in who is perfect to manage it. And it's not like Finstock, who at times it's just like, was it just who was free this morning showed up to manage? Some of them didn't quite click as well as I think Kaiser's choices have.
Bateman command.
Yeah,
oh, wow, I got lucky there.
Let's go ahead and move on to Press Room versus Old Guard. I thought Press Room was going to take this the whole time. Nothing against Riley or Durald. How do you say his last?
Duralde.
Duraldo?
Duralde.
Forgive me for that, but some of these names are, I can't even pronounce my own name sometimes. It's hard. Anyway. But no, Press Room, dude. Okay, it's very interesting. Perry and Josh both look good separate in singles, you know what I'm saying? But as a team, they look really, really, really good. If I had to put money on them as a team over either one of them in singles, I would bet on them as a team every time, and I would take deep thought as to whether or not I would bet on one of the two in singles. I don't just together.
I mean, I'll pick up his point. Yeah, I do agree with you 100%. I'll pick up your point there. Josh has shown, obviously, with the one, the match we'll get to later at some point being the exception. He's done very, very well in singles this year. But he is a strong enough central point on his own. And even back in the days of like tough beats where like they didn't do all that well, Perry always looked much more comfortable playing with somebody. And it seems to make her do better because she's just more comfortable in it. So she's more comfortable, she's shooting better, and he's a very, very good player on his own, and that makes for a strong team.
We're getting an echo.
Oh.
But yeah, you must be saying that Bateman would be able to manage Star Wars. But there we go. Is that me?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, it's Jay.
I don't know. Anyway. Shug.
Yeah, it's Jay. I can confirm.
Yeah, it's Jay.
I think it's gone now.
Okay.
Anyway,
So-
but what really surprised me though was that Alonso would miss that movie release date 3-pointer, because that was one that I thought he would be able to get. I'm not sure how much it really mattered, but it is something to like think about when talking about how well he could do in the singles division when not playing somebody like Barbarian, who's a tough task as is.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it was a bad idea for her to put them in as the team? Like, I know she has the whole thing about spread the love, and again, I don't know when this was recorded, but considering, as the comment that was just pulled up said, all of her singles competitors were eliminated. Saul didn't win the tournament. All she has left is Harper. Would it have been smarter, even though they hadn't won yet this year, Paul and Ben at least had played together, they had that chemistry? Would it have been better to put someone like them in than take two guys who have barely played this year to begin with and make them your saving grace as a team?
I mean, as the Den Shill here, I mean, what else are you going to do? Personally, I mean, let's be honest. Paul Preston and Ben Goddard had the worst year ever. Paul Preston had one win and then just went down the drain. How invested he is in the rest of the year? How invested is Ben Goddard in the rest of the year? So you're going to stick him in a teams tournament. Now, had they known they were going to play press room, I probably agree with you, because that's a lower seed versus another lower seed. But let's say they put him in, and then you get you get freaking danger zone or deception, just so you're going to go to the tournament just to lose again. Like, I love the Den, and I think they can win, but good God, you're going to play deception or danger zone and be like, oh well, try to beat them. Like, it sucks. It sucks. Trust me, I get it. But basically, at the end of the day, they're gonna have somebody representing them at Spectacular. That's a champion, and that's the silver lining of the year. I mean, go back to beginning of the year. Everyone, oh, why did you give up Marisol? It's I don't know. What else can you do?
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, what about just throwing that Hail Mary and putting the Pride in there? I mean, they did well last year. To be honest, I don't understand why they were split up in favor of Preston and Goddard this season. I mean, maybe there's everything that I'm not privy to behind the scenes, but from what I'm presented and what I see, I don't understand why that move was made in the first place. Dude, why not throw a Hail Mary and put them back together and throw them in the tournament?
Well, I think the reason for that, Jay, is so you got to look at the records and everything like that. I love Rachel, but Rachel team, she was good. Team, I believe she was like 3-5 now, or 3-6, something like that. But she only got one match this year, lost. Do you really want to stick? And then only that, you're saying, well, Goddard and Preston, we don't have belief in you, so now we're going to take Goddard and Rachel, put them together. Well, how much face does that show to Preston personally? Like,
I would say it's in that situation, it's not a slight on Preston. It's a fact of the matter of, if we're talking about a team and team chemistry, the Pride were 2-1 when they were broken up, and Goddard and Preston have gone 0-2, and they did so poorly that it's to a point where, have any of us actually said their team name yet? Because I don't remember what it is.
The Outsiders.
Well, I mean, but did they do poorly? They lost a 5-pointer to Light.
But the Pride won. They lost, and that's facts.
Yeah, but okay, so if you want to go by facts, then let's be honest. Who did the Pride play? They played the Real Rejects, who everyone all of a sudden now says is not good, and they played a new team in the Butcher Boys. And now you're telling me, because
before
now you're telling me
really.
Yeah, and now you're telling me the Outsiders, who lost to Lightning Time on a 5-pointer, and then lost to who was the other team they lost to this year? The Press Room. They lost to the Press Room.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying, but if you look at it from that point of view, I don't really think there's a comparison.
But I just want to throw out one stat I saw this week, which I thought was interesting in terms of another Den controversy. If Del Rio beats James White, he will have as many points to the dungeon as all of the Den's regular play competitors combined.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. We know why she had to get rid of Del Rio. She wasn't getting matches. And in the Star Wars tournament, Lacey wasn't going to be able to compete. She talked about it on our show. She said the condition of going into the Star Wars match was you had to be able to get spectacular if you won.
Right. I mean, obviously he had to pick up Ross. You could have dropped Rachel, and you could have still put Del Rio in the singles tournament.
I mean, I could see it that way, ASG. But I mean, when did the trade happen? I'm trying to remember.
Free agency.
Free agency. So, had Rachel's match already gone on? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
See, I'm still like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I'm still 3 minutes ago in awe of something that was said as far as like, I believe it was implying, how Preston might feel if Goddard and Rachel were put in as a team. And I just want to say, like, so nothing is ever personal. My views are never personal against people. This is a sports talk show about movie trivia. Okay, so in that mindset, I am not going to put my lesser quality pitcher in, or the pitcher who's not doing as well lately, just because I don't want to hurt his feelings over someone who could potentially do better than them. I'm not going to do that. It's nothing personal, but we need to win. We need points. It's a competition. And if this wasn't working out, then I'm going to switch it up and we're going to go with this combination. It might not work. It might work, but we can't do the same thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jay. It's not personal, but at the end of the day, it is personal because you make relationships with these people. This is not like it's sports.
No, it's not personal to say that we are in a competition where people.
Jay, that's your opinion, though. Jay, that's your opinion. It's different. It's different for other people. It just is.
Well, that's all.
Okay, I'll give you. I will say this.
Reality. That's not the actual reality. Actual reality is that these people are playing for money. They're putting a lot of time and investment.
I don't even think they're even playing for money anymore, right? Like
well, they still are, but only this year. But I think the actual reality also is that even in sports, there's such a thing as team cohesion, and team morale. Like that. That's a thing that exists in all of everything.
And you got also too, Jay.
We need the best shot to win, and if the person takes it personal, then that's on them. That's how I feel about it. And that's also, in my opinion, them putting themselves above the team as a whole. It is about.
I'll say this last thing
because I know communicating.
Yeah, but I do want to say this last thing though, Jay. If you're saying this is a sport, and Preston is your number one draft pick, you have to go with your number one draft pick.
No, you don't have to.
You have to. Why? So then why did you draft him first then? But then why did you draft him first then? Because you had faith he was going to be your best option.
And if that and this isn't right now, this isn't about Preston specifically, just in general. Yes, I draft that number one, and I'm sorry, Frenchie, I know you're going crazy. I draft that number one person. And in the hopes that they will do what we need them to do. If they don't perform, I'm going to put in whoever can do it.
So you're going to pull them after 2 performances, Jay? 2 performances, you're going to pull them.
Okay.
They've only had 2 matches. They've only had 2 matches.
Exactly.
That's a small sample size. That's a small sample size, Jay.
How many matches total are they going to have? 3? So 2 out of 3? You got to look at the odds here.
What happens? But then what happens if they get that 3rd match and they win and they start to win? Now what? Because you decided to pull it early, you don't get to see what they do. So now we don't see what happens down the line. You got to give them time. Correct. You got to give it time, huh?
You're a Dodgers fan, correct?
Yeah. Well, why? Okay. Why you say that, Jay?
Because I'm pretty sure you're a Dodgers fan.
I love the Dodgers, yes.
Because you guys are running for the World Series right now. Very well can do it. Very well can take the whole thing. My point is, when it's coming down to it, and you're on the last game, you gotta win this game in order to advance. You lose it, you're done. If the pitcher that is next up in rotation isn't looking like they're gonna pull their weight, or there's any questions at all, are you still gonna go with them? Are you gonna go with someone else that you think could very well do it, or has maybe looked a little bit better? Or are you gonna
I give them an opportunity, and if they can't get past the first or the second, then you bring in somebody else.
You can't do that in this, though.
Why? Why?
Because
you don't know that.
No, in Schmoedown, you can't be like, okay, round 1 is over. You didn't perform well, so now we're going to put in this reliever for you to play the rest of this match.
That's what happened.
You can't do that.
That's exactly what happened, Jay. The outsiders played the first. They played the first tournament. They didn't do well. So Kate said, okay, I'm going to put a new team in to maybe hopefully perform well.
Okay, but like I said, a match is the equivalent of a game. You can't.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't put in me and Blow Joe, and then at the end of the first.
I don't know. Maybe Blow Joe's good. You never know. I think you're good at movie trivia, Jay.
Hold on, man. And then at the end of the first round, you say Jay isn't performing the way we would like him to. So Saul, now you go in for Jay, and it's Saul and Blow Joe, and you guys play the rest of the match, and hopefully you can win. You cannot do that. The Schmoedown does not allow you to do that. What do you mean you're gonna let the guy go in?
They only had 2 matches. You don't know what they could do. If you give them a better sample size, then you can say, you know what? They're not performing up to our standards. We need to go with somebody else. Okay. I think it was too early. You're saying why didn't you switch the team up? Why did you put Riley and Duralde on? If we're talking about the Den.
Well, no, I'm not questioning who was the team. That's not. I'm fine with whoever she wants to put up.
But so then what's your argument, Jay?
I'm just saying you were saying like how that might make Preston feel. Him,
Well, yeah, he's the number 1 pick.
And I'm saying, I'm sorry, Preston. It's not personal, but if I think someone else can outperform you, I'm going to put them in because this is a team sport.
So what you're saying? So next year, Jay, what you're saying to Paul Preston is, I had no faith in you to pull yourself out. Therefore, next year, that might show other people drafting you that hey, he's really not that good, or he might not have what it takes. You're doing it not to make him look bad, but you're also doing it to show that you're staying true to your word. He was the number 1 pick. You have to give him some respect. Amon Roses is the number 1 pick. If Amon Roses plays Mike Kalinowski and loses, does Sam go, you know what? You can't perform. Sorry. I'm not going to put you in the next. If we had another IG tournament, you can't do that.
I want to talk to you off air about this more, and I'm enjoying this. I really am, because I understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree, and I really want to try to change your mind. But I can see Frenchie is definitely giving me the death glare. I'm sorry.
I have my own thoughts as well, but I'm trying to
Our guest is here, everyone, and our hot matches rules work like this. The winner starts the interview with our guest one-on-one. Second place will then join a short bit later, then third and fourth place, and so on. And today, Aaron was our winner of Hot Matches. So, Aaron, why don't you introduce our guest and get us started?
Absolutely. The person who just laid witness to what just happened, you can shoot me for that one later. Adam Witt is with us whenever someone in control brings him in.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
So you won the what? I got here 5 minutes ago. It's been nothing but Paul Preston talk, which I'm a fan of. That's fine. That's we can talk Paul Preston. What did you win earlier in the show? I'm getting here late. So you have won.
We talked about
the ability to talk to me.
And they randomly pull us out in the middle of talking, and I was the last one standing. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It was a cage match, a conversational cage match.
Oh, what that was, yes. So first off, hope you're doing well. So I was going to say, I was curious because going into that tournament, obviously, you obviously got to manage Molly in that match, and you guys have a bevy of Star Wars players, yourself, Molly, Hoey. I believe at one point, Mara said she might even want to try Star Wars at some
point.
Mara
could definitely try Star Wars, yeah.
So was going into that tournament, was Molly always the choice for this one since Hoey had played and you played last one, or was there still that active discussion of who was going to go in for you guys?
It's been a while since we made that discussion because the match actually got taped a while ago, so we had to figure out who was going into it a while ago. But I seem to remember, Hoey had just played, and Molly hadn't played in months. Has Molly played? She's played
First
what?
game, I think.
The first had Molly not played since the first match of the season?
I don't believe so. No.
No. Okay, so it was a pretty obvious choice then that Molly's going into the tournament, and good thing too because this is a match that a lot of matches are built up, but everybody's been saying since day one that Molly got in. It's like, ooh, isn't she gonna play Alex Damon? So it was cool. I was like, I ended up managing on this because Kaiser couldn't, and it's a good thing it's my area of expertise. Although if you talk to Sam Levine, supposedly I can't manage because I know too much about Star Wars. I don't know, but but it was cool. I was like, there's all these gigantic matches of the season, but you're not going to get more promoted than this one. This is like, the dungeon makes headlines even if we don't win. This match is one of the most anticipated matches of the entire season or last season even. I'm sure people were asking for it last season. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, Molly we didn't know who Molly would be playing, but it was I think it was a pretty easy choice that Molly should be in the tournament.
I was gonna say, can I say one more quick thing, Jay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I saw the comment. What's up, Amaru?
Amaru.
Amaru.
Hey.
Mr. Adam Witt, sir, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm doing good. It's Saturday morning. I meant to throw on cartoons. It's Saturday morning. I watch cartoons on Saturday morning still, but I threw on Star Wars for the theme.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was watching it and we were speaking with Aaron there. Hey, take a wild guess what road I will be driving down later tonight.
High Street in Oxford, Ohio.
No, Diamond Mill Road.
Diamond Mill Road. That's right. I have to repost, or I have to send that interview to a bunch of my relatives because I forgot how many little details about Ohio we got into there. Yeah, Diamond Mill Road. Right on. Well, wave at the old church or the old church as you go by, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Well, anyone who don't know what we're talking about, Adam was one of my guests on From Birth to Schmoedown.
Yeah.
One-on-one, in-depth, and I mean, I knew he was from Dayton, but come to find out that he lived in a town about 20-25 minutes down the road from where I lived at the same time.
I think our pets had the same veterinarian, I think, if we might have figured out.
Yeah, so good times. Very interesting and fun one. Thank you for your time here.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you. I was saying this as a joke earlier, and obviously it's still a joke, but there might be some truth.
This is all very silly what we're doing here. I would add that to the conversation I came in on about sports talk.
Oh, yeah. No, my question, okay, so if a man, is it possible that this could happen, and has it ever happened to your knowledge without calling anyone out? Say, we'll just say your faction, and we'll say, we'll use Damon versus Damon as an example. Now, how likely or how possible is it that Kaiser could be like, well, Adam knows a lot about Star Wars, so I think maybe I'll be busy for that match, and I will delegate the managing duties to Adam, or if it's an inner geekdom, and I'll delegate the managing to so-and-so for that match. I mean, I was joking when I said it, but really, who would know different? Is that something that you're aware of that has ever happened?
Well, I don't think that has. In fact, that was a real conversation I referenced there where Sam's like, this is a while back. I forget which match I managed. Hoey was Star Wars match? Was that against the Usual Suspects?
I think so.
Yeah, right, and Kaiser was out for 2 months because he was in Hawaii and the time zone. It never worked out. Gave me a great opportunity to take us from second place to first place. But no, that was never any strategy. It just worked out nicely. But the question I would have is, and again, a brief conversation I had with Sam before one of the matches, but I don't know, why would you make sure to get a third base coach who's never played third base and doesn't know anything about it? You're like, no. second base coach or first base coach for the whole field. We just only first base coaches. We don't want people that have experience in the outfield. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you've put together a crew that is capable of managing as well as playing, that's not everybody. It's not a lateral move like, I've answered a few questions. Maybe I'll go in there and try and manage a little bit. I feel like I got a special position because I had a little experience managing because, I actually had managed last season when Kaiser couldn't make it. And, it's a dumb thing we're doing here. So why not? Why wouldn't you have Mara, manage Parker on an IG match? That would make complete sense. And so is that against the rules? I've been told by someone who may have been playing me pre-match, who might have been trying to get in my head pre-match, that it's not allowed, but I don't think that's true.
That's interesting. ASG?
Yes. So, question I had is, we know next year, or at least I believe they're saying there won't be a draft or a free agency the same way there has been in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So, my question for you is, will you and Paul still be having some kind of roster recap at the end of the year?
How will we do that this time? Our for your consideration pre-draft roast, basically. Actually, what's going to replace that is the show on the night after the Spectacular. Was it December 4th or 5th? I forget his Spectacular. But the night after it is the show at the Mint with Ben Bateman and Alex Marzonia, and we keep adding people to it. They're playing. It's all the best of the Schmoedown musicians, and it's hosted by Paul and I. And so far as we've been talking about it, that's going to be the roast. So I don't know if that show is going to get recorded, but that's probably will be where we might roast the room a little bit.
And that's on a Sunday, right?
Yeah, Spectacular's on a Saturday, right?
Okay.
So I can't remember. One of them's on the 4th, one of them's on the 5th.
To help you out, for anyone who wants to purchase tickets to that, December 5th.
It's the 5th, okay, yeah, because the 4th is so that's going to be an amazing. That's probably going to replace that's going to be our roast for the year since there's no draft.
What's going on? Hey, Adam, how you doing today?
Hey, Shug, how's it going? We got the whole gang here.
We do have the whole gang here, and we're here to
Happy Saturday morning. Who watched
Saturday
cartoons
morning
this morning?
I did not. I was an adult and had to go wash
Technically,
clothes.
I did, yeah.
Wade watched. Okay, awesome. Yeah, usually I start my morning. I just put this on for theme Star Wars, but usually I got cartoons on.
There you go. What's your favorite cartoon, Adam?
My favorite cartoon? Probably Mask. Mobile Armored Strike Command. I found that on, as a kid, I loved that cartoon because I loved any cartoon connected to a toy. Like, I watched them all. Like, I watched Visionaries and Humanoids. I still have a bunch of tapes of all these old things.
I thought you were talking about the cartoon based on the movie.
No, they did one of those too. No,
Yeah.
this is a ripoff of G.I. Joe and Transformers and Raiders of the Lost Ark all at once. If you go on Tubi, it's called Mask, and they have every season. And what was ridiculous about these 80s cartoon shows, Biker Mice from Mars, yeah, that was towards the end game of Saturday morning cartoons. That was a little more early 90s maybe. But so they have, they cranked these cartoons out. These cartoons are the most shoddily animated things, but I just love them. You had one goal, sell toys, and then they gave all these artists, like Larry Hama and G.I. Joe, and like, hey, look, we just got a guy, he's got a laser gun, give him a story. So I like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Mask are really fun because of the toy element. But on Tubi, Mask is so enjoyable. It's the perfect combo. Raiders, G.I. Joe, Transformers, because the cars transform into other G.I. Joe weapons. It's crazy.
Adam, I got a great story for you then. If you do you remember the cartoon? I don't know if it was Air Commando but it was Commando something. It was the ones that used to hook on to the thing and like glide. Okay, I wanted those Sky Commanders. There you go. So I wanted that those toys, and I begged my grand. Oh, he's falling. Love the shirt too.
Adam Witt getting something to show us here, everybody.
You did want those toys. Yes, I might have Sky Commanders at hand for Saturday morning viewing.
So Adam, I wanted those toys, okay?
Yeah.
And my aunt, I told my aunt I want those toys. Which all she heard was Commando. Went to Hollywood, and on Christmas I got a toy of Arnold Schwarzenegger from the movie Commando.
Oh wow! That
Not
is-
what I wanted, but was one of my favorite toys.
Oh,
It came with it came in with this big old knife, all the guns. He had all the war paint on, and it was like this big, and I loved it.
It was huge.
Yeah,
It
I was
made
so disappointed, but then so happy when I realized what it was and everything. Because when I got it, I was like, "Oh, that's not what I wanted." And then she gave it to me, and I was like, "Okay, well,
that's much rarer. That's like saying
I wish I had it still. I wish I had it still. That thing's
wow.
probably so rare. Yeah, it was from the movie Commando. And then I go, "Mom, what's this movie Commando?" She's like, "Oh, put it on." I put that movie on at like 8 years old, watching it.
I mean, he cuts a guy's head off with his forehead off with a saw blade.
Oh, that's not even when he drops Sonny. It's the best part. Remember when I told you I kill you last? I lied.
That's right. That's right, man. What a great villain.
Going into the other people's room next door, all that shit, man.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I know exactly.
I eat green berets for breakfast. I was like, what is he talking about? I'm 8 years old. Like, what?
But all those weapons, like, has anybody ever seen that rocket launcher which fires 4 rockets ever again? I'm like, is that only invented for that movie? I felt like I saw it in some military thing, but yeah. Call of Duty?
Oh, in a
Call of Duty game.
Oh, wow. That's awesome to get the short. But that's amazing. That's like sending your mom is to go, I want a large Star Wars figure, and she comes back with that very rare 79 Alien figure, you know?
Yeah.
Same theory is that they're like, space stuff is big with kids. Quick, get the Alien action figures out there. Same thing with Commando. It's like, G.I. Joe's huge. We should make a giant Commando action figure. Yeah.
I was say only in the 80s could a film like that get a kid's action figure.
Yeah, rated R movie.
Oh, that movie was so bad.
It's just so funny how confused the marketplace was and how behind like people were to be like, I don't think we should do this. I mean, you even got all the way through like Batman Returns had toys at Taco Bell. They didn't quite understand that some things do that, some things don't. You know.
So I have a cartoon related question. There's always talk of expanding the Star Wars division to include the television shows, including the cartoons. So just wanted to get your view on that.
That's inevitable. I love that the FCL did it this season because the FCL found such cool little ways, or is still finding cool ways to differentiate themselves. They had a all wrestling trivia match that was like radical and new, but changing up the Star Wars formula. Well, not only that, I call their Star Wars trivia for humans. Because you can actually play along with the FCL Star Wars questions, and it makes me feel good because I'm like, I think I'd have the belt. But I would have at least won one match. But that's a great. I mean, it's inevitable, And Thomas Harper said in one of the conversations I was on a show with him that Star Wars is already dipped into, or long dipped into, movie related stuff because you go one level back from the movies to find the name of this character. You have to go to a book. We're already into books, So there's no slice that says Star Wars books, and there probably won't be next season. But small screen Star Wars, there's got to be no way that doesn't show up next season. And in a division where things are always decided by 1 point. I mean, even my match with Harper was decided by very few points, which is ridiculous. That should have been a blowout. But you should have
blown him out, Whit.
I should have blown him out.
You should be the champion right now. What's going on, man?
Come on, where's my belt? I'm gonna make my own belt. That's what has to happen next. I'm just gonna make a belt. So yeah, that's inevitable, and that's gonna start slicing. I mean, if you get a small screen Star Wars 5-pointer, it's going to start nice and easy. You look at the stuff on the FCL, and you're like, what race is Bosk in Mandalorian or the whatever? They'll ask you these sort of related questions or whatever. Who plays Mayfeld? Things like that. So, but you get a 5-point small screen Star Wars question, and you will have had to have done maybe a little more homework. And watching the shows for homework means you're not watching Return of the Jedi to miss that dialogue question that's always been a sticky point for some competitors, the quotes and stuff. So you really, you could divide the attention of the people who are trying to train. We call it training. It is just watching Star Wars, but yeah, I think that's inevitable for next season. I can't imagine they wouldn't do it.
Well, Adam, when I had Andrew DiMolanta on our show, he was talking about maybe switching the slices instead of movies, certain specific categories, meaning a slice on Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, vehicles, lightsabers, villains, heroes.
That's smart.
Yeah, he was saying because then but I would thought, well, whoever got the Yoda slice down, they're just going to destroy everybody in the game because they just put the Yoda slice and know everything about Yoda. But he was talking about that, and that would help.
Oh, that's great.
That would help out more because the one thing about Star Wars, which I love Star Wars, I think it's kind of shaved the Schmoedown. The slices are just the movies, so it's like we already know. But could you imagine, like, okay, we have these generic slices, you get to put slices, and let's say you're really good at everything Han Solo, and they get sprinter, opponent's choice. You're like, give them Han Solo. It makes it more niche. You have to now know things, and I think that's one thing the Schmoedown needs to look at to make the Star Wars division, because the Star Wars division, like you obviously said, you should have won some matches, but it's one of the toughest competitive divisions. And so I think it's getting better. We have a lot more people. There's a lot more people seeing it that would say, you know what, I think I can compete. So I think doing that with the wheel slices will make it very interesting. I think it would make it better.
The difference between a Rogue One slice and a Chirrut Emwe slice is vast, So that's a really good idea because, the wheel right now is set up as it would have been 8 years ago in the Schmoedown, movies and some broader topics and spinner's choice or whatever if you put that on the wheel. But so it really is kind of like old school how the wheel's set up, whereas Star Wars obviously is a very different division than the rest of it. I guess it would be the equivalent in reverse of if you went in a regular Schmoedown match and one of the wheel slices was the Taken movies or was just like Cable Guy. Can you imagine if you went and the slices were Cable Guy, or American Graffiti, Harrison Ford in Heroes, but it would be, because then Star Wars, you're getting the specific movies. You never get those in the regular Schmoedown. So that would be a perfect reversal because the regular Schmoedown isn't set up by movies. It's set up by themes. So that makes a whole lot of sense. And it's the sort of thing you don't see the perspective on until you've played a season like this where you're like, everybody won or lost by 1 point this season, So, or very few.
We didn't. I don't think ASG, when's the last time we seen a knockout in Star Wars? It was
in Star Wars. It might have been when Alex Damon won the championship.
I think that's the last time we saw a
it's definitely been a while.
And so I totally agree with you, Adam, because this is I love the Star Wars division. I think that Twitch, tournament saved the division, made the division better, and made it one of the best divisions. Yeah, over IG personally. I personally say over IG. I get yelled at a lot about that. I know Amaru's in the chat, so he's going to yell at me. But I like Star Wars. I think Star Wars, this division is one of the best divisions. You have to be on your game. And if you're not, you like we said, you could have beat Harper. You could have been the title holder right now. And
ridiculous, right? It's possible. It is actually possible. That's how thinly sliced that league is.
And look how he's played. He's played tremendous. He's played, Andrew DiMolanta. DiMolanta went perfect against Damon. And then they had that rough matchup, the next one, and then against Kelly, it was a real rough match. But I mean, it came down to very close points. And so,
we want to watch a rough match. We want to watch people struggle, and I mean, I really think Star Wars is everything the Schmoedown is in a microcosm. Like everything we love about the gameplay of the Schmoedown in Star Wars, it is the high microscope, and every once in a while you'll get those questions. Well, IG is those type of questions too. They're just so zoomed in, and you widen out to the regular. But when you get down to the 5s in the regular MTS, it comes down to what's the license plate number on the car in The Godfather or whatever. But to have a whole division that plays at that level, it just really focusing in on the absolute ridiculous minutia, and that's what you're there for, to enjoy that. It really is. It's everything everything we love about the regular Schmoedown is what Star Wars is.
Absolutely.
Now, Adam, I would like to get your thoughts here. We got a few minutes left in this segment, this interview with you, and I would like to know, how do you see this Star Wars tournament playing out, the bracket? Who do you think has got the best shot to take it all the way?
You're going to have to show me the bracket. It's been a hot minute since I looked at it.
It's Gold Leader's playing Laura Kelly and Alex Damon's playing Nikki DeMonte.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Laura Kelly versus Nikki. I'm going to say, Nikki came out and played amazing. But of course she played amazing, but it's just she was an unknown quantity. Her first match was Hoey, right? I think I managed
Yes, that was the match.
Yeah.
And what a great debut. And then did she win her first matchup in this?
Yeah,
Yes.
she beat Ross, who was highly talked about by Thomas Harper, the Den. A lot of people talked about him. So.
But Ross is an FCL, guy. He won a few matches in FCL. Those are lower grade Star Wars questions. So it would be a tough move, I would think, for Ross, especially, and then going against Nikki DiMolanta.
Well, he had the lead going in, and then it just if he got his 5-pointer, he would have won. But he, it was a very tough question, So.
Oh, okay. Well, I see. I'm way behind on match.
Yeah.
Proved himself. Yeah. Well, also, once you get warmed up as well, and then you're playing Nikki DiMolanta, you sit down and make sure you watch all of the movies. But I would still take Laura Kelly. Laura Kelly, I feel like, especially even personality-wise, she's got that steely. She's hard to penetrate. She doesn't crack a smile. Nikki is much more affable, and that's what can throw you off too, and go, oh, maybe she's not taking this as seriously as Andrew, who's like he's a feels like to me like a white knuckle player. Nikki doesn't feel like a white knuckle player. Neither does Laura Kelly, but I think there's an even cooler edge to Laura Kelly that would just start to psych you out of just be like, she is unflappable, she hasn't missed, and then you slowly get that into your back of mind. You're like, it's probably not in the cards for me, just. And then what was the other matchup?
Well, it's Nikki DiMolanta versus Alex Damon, and then Laura Kelly
Nikki versus
Gold.
Alex.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's okay. No, you're good. And then it's Laura Kelly versus Gold Leader.
Oh, Laura versus Gold Leader. Laura versus Gold Leader. Okay, let me talk about that then. That's Laura Kelly. Well, again, as we've said here, anybody can win. Absolutely, Gold Leader could win. But boy, what a great matchup of personalities, though. Even going off of what I was talking about, I thought it was Nikki versus Laura, but the difference in personalities in those matchups is what's fun to watch, because Gold Leader's like Mr. Affable, gonna throw some jabs your way, but then Laura can respond to none of those and then just cut him in half with one line, and so that's a fun one. So I would take Laura Kelly there, and Nikki versus Alex.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I actually, and watching those two personalities mesh, that's going to be a good match. I actually can't call that one, I don't think. You tend to think Alex, but Alex has had a lot of close games, and Nikki, boy, she knows her stuff. Man, there's a question in the John Hoey match from her that afterwards we're like, I've never ever heard that. There's like a layer that the Bespin is on that has breathable air, and what is the name of that layer that life can exist on Bespin? Like, what? That's nuts. And she knew it. So I'm like, oh, she's got, and I also think like Nikki, and also the thing is, we talk about bringing in other things like TV shows and books, I think someone like Nikki's probably read all the books, seen all the shows. Like that.
You want
wouldn't
to,
have-
Adam? Do you want to know something? She just
Yeah.
became a fan of Star Wars 2 years ago.
Get the hell out of here.
That's a true story.
How
That's
long
a true
have her and Andrew been together?
They've been together for a minute, but she really started when Andrew joined the Schmoedown. That's when she started watching Star Wars with him and paying attention, which was 2 years ago when he debuted again in the 5-way. She's only been a fan, so 2.5 years of being a Star Wars fan.
Okay, all right. Well, and maybe she's riding on some luck too, but also just
exactly.
If you're a fan and you're just discovering it in a way, in a true fan way, then maybe she's just absorbing all the stuff. I mean, lucky guy. I don't know if I've ever dated anyone that even likes Star Wars, but
oh man, Adam, thank you very much for his time in the interview. I do have a question for you. Sure. We're gonna do Frenchie's Corner for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Do you want to hang around for 5 minutes? Flip side of that, we'll have you, ASG, and Aaron give your thoughts on what Suge and I are about to argue.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that sounds good.
We'll see you on the flip side.
All right.
Frenchie, let's get this going on for a special edition of Frenchie's Corner. Suge is going to be joining me for this one, and we'll go ahead and bring up, even though he's not here, it is still Frenchie.
I'm Frenchie. I'm not as good looking, but I am Frenchie.
All right, there you go. Okay, so for this Frenchie's Corner, the question of debate today is, let me pull up here. Will Alex Damon win the title back from Harper at Spectacular? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to say, after watching Damon versus Damon, yes, absolutely he will. Dude, if Alex Damon, a grown man, is not afraid to win a competition against his wife, then yeah, that man is ready and definitely willing to go all the way. I'm not betting against a man who's willing to shut his wife down in a tournament.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to comment on that, but I'm going to disagree with you. He is absolutely not going to win his belt from Harper, and there's 2 reasons why. One is Gold Leader, but 2 is the next person he has to play. The person that lives in the same house as that person is 3-0 versus the Damons. He knows how to beat the Damons. And when I talk about Andrew DiMolanta, I always said he has the cojones to go up against, Alex Damon, to live up, to fight that big, hey, I haven't lost a Star Wars match ever. Well, Nikki DiMolanta is his wife, and she probably taught him gave him that confidence. She's going to have that confidence. And I think he's not going to get through Nikki DiMolanta. And if he does get through Nikki, Gold Leader's going to be right there, or Laura Kelly. So I think those are 3 huge obstacles for Alex to get through. And I really think he's going to have a hard time.
Suge, Suge, I can't believe I have to explain this to you, my friend.
Sure.
I'm single. I've been single the vast majority of my life. You should understand exactly where I'm coming from. That is my only argument and defense for my reasoning of saying yes, he will, and I stand by it, dude. If because yes, obviously it is real life. You're playing the competition, but then there's like real life. I'm staying by it, dude. If you as a man are willing to beat your wife in a really big competition and tournament like this, dude, you have no worries and no cares, and you are ready to do anything it takes to make it to the end. And I cannot bet against that. That's like a hungry dog, dude. You can't.
But they've been doing it for years, Jay. They've been playing in Dragon Con, and he's beaten her a couple.
Not on this level, though. This is a
Dragon Con. If anything, and I think Adam would agree, Dragon Con has proven that Dragon Con players can hang in the Schmoedown. You have 5 Dragon Con players that came into the Schmoedown. 2 of them have been champions. The other 2 have played really well. And the other 3 have played very well. So I think that's proven anything. I think Dragon Con is on par with the Schmoedown as far as questions and knowing Star Wars knowledge. But I just think I'm gonna give if anybody knows sports, I'm gonna give this to try to give this a thing. Alex Damon to me is the Ronda Rousey of the Schmoedown. He dominated for so long, but then people started coming in and started adjusting to Ronda and was able to start beating her. I think the same thing's happening with Alex Damon. Alex Damon has been so dominant that now you have people saying, okay, well, I'm going to change up my studies. I'm going to study this way. I'm going to really get my knowledge really tight and know the Schmoedown gameplay. And now it's caught up to him. And because if you look at it, he hasn't, in his matches that he's played, they've been real, like Adam said, close and things like that. That wasn't Alex Damon years prior. We were like, hopefully he doesn't blow somebody out. And now that rhetoric's changed. It's the skill level is very closer than it used to be. We saw that with Dimolanta. We saw that with other people. So
you're misguided, my friend. You are misguided.
I've been told that a couple times.
I agree with what you said. Okay, but I still stand by what I said, and I feel it trumps everything in the world. If you're willing on the highest level of competition to beat your wife, then I would never do it. Not even my wife, my girlfriend. I would never do it, dude. I would never do it. But let's see what the crew and Mr. Adam Witt thinks about what we've been talking about.
Whoa. Okay. Well, there we go. I was about to say, first of all, I heard there was similar talk on POV, but phrasing about beating your wife. But
well, this is a good time to mention that my reaction to the match with Molly versus Alex got cut down significantly as I went on a rant about if Alex wants to take on the mantle of wife beater. He beat his wife. I went on a whole thing and then cut that straight out. We knew that would get cut out, but I was cracking everybody up, so that was fun. Yes, Alex the wife beater Damon. That was my new name for him. Got cut out of the post show. But hey, the joke's right there. You guys all ended up there as well. And it's not funny, obviously, unless you're being silly like we are, because he defeated her in battle. He didn't actually abuse his wife, which is unacceptable.
Defeat your significant others in trivia, never actually beat them.
Right. Okay, so what they're saying here is because the guy had the cojones to go, I'm willing to sleep in the car, but because I want to win the opportunity to go all the way, right? Because whoever wins this tournament, that's who's playing Harper, right?
Yes.
Well, I guess that's a good point. I do have to wonder if Alex is over being the champion in a weird way. Does he it was the most important thing to Alex to hold on to that title, and obviously one of the biggest heartbreaks of his career, losing it to Andrew, and then losing the follow-up match as well. At that point, does he go, and you know what, and playing Molly and Alex, that's fun. That is super fun for them. I can tell you, the couple days before they went to the DragaCon, I was, I got on with Molly, doing a little bit of training and stuff, but those two were just like, look, we got a lot of stuff going on. We know as much about Star Wars as we know. We don't have a lot of time to buckle down. So that was a very fun match for them. And I kind of wonder if he's found the fun in it, but Thomas Harper is now in the place where he's like, I must hold on to this at all costs. Alex doesn't have that in his head. Alex is still playing for fun. And of course, you wake up Alex in the middle of the night, untrained, hasn't watched the movies in a month. He's going to beat everybody. He's still, the guy is brutal. But I do wonder if he's reached the point where it's like, oh, I found the fun in this again, after playing Molly, rather than the intensity, which can make it not that much fun at all. The white knuckling a match, white knuckling your study, it can make it not that fun. And as I say as a coach all the time, don't forget why we're here. We love movies, and this is fun. And, if you stay loose, there's maybe your boxing analogy too. The guy that comes out and he's got his jab ready, but he's all, wait till I get to that chance. And the sort of Muhammad Ali, you could swing at me all day. I'm just going to kind of be right here. So maybe that gives Alex an advantage. That's a long analysis there, but that Alex is now playing for fun with all the knowledge in the world. And now Thomas Harper has got to hold on to that belt. So who does that favor? I don't know.
But
What
to
do you guys
support
think?
your point, I think Demolanta said as much when he was on some other shows about how, he took things very seriously on the exchange last year, and that he played kind of more tight. And now that he's on the Mercs, that he has that loose funness with the knowledge, and that has helped him this year.
He's a little more of a coy player now. He's more of a quirky merc. So I think that's lost him some matches, but again, I think we're seeing a different type of Alex Damon than we started the season with. Certainly a different one than we had all last season. That now he's free to not have the reputation of guy who's never lost the belt or always defended the belt or all these sort of things. Now Harper has all that. Are you going to be able to defend? Are you going to be able to defend again? Are you all this stuff that plays in your head, and that takes some of the fun out of it. So I think Damon would be playing a more fun version of Star Wars Schmoedown than Harper, who's not going to have as much fun, and maybe that doesn't appeal to him. And maybe mentally it's like, all right, lose the belt so we can have fun with this again. I don't know.
So So to answer the question at hand, though, I think that yes, Alex Damon has done well in the past, and he'll continue to do great, but I don't think it's anymore as a lock that he's definitely going to run through things.
No,
and that he's never played these rookies before. Nikki Demolanta or Gold Leader. If he has to play Gold Leader, he has played Laura Kelly before, but not this version of Laura Kelly. What's your opinion on this?
I like your point, Adam. It's the fact that for the longest time there's that pressure on your shoulders of everyone expects this of you. Everyone's going into matches, and if they're not supporting you, then it's is this person going to do it? Is this person going to do it? The reason I don't know if I can put my weight on he's going to run through and beat Harper, because I think again it is a thing of no one's beat Harper yet. So just like when Damon hadn't lost, it's going to be who's the one to do it. But the thing that Damon has done that Nikki Demolanta, Gold Leader, or Laura Kelly haven't done is he's won a belt and defended a belt multiple times. Laura and Gold Leader have had those high matches already, and they've never won it. And Nikki Demolanta is the newest of the bunch, so she hasn't got there yet. So he has the advantage of the pressure of getting to the hill. And then it's just once it gets there, I think kind of like with him versus Demolanta, it's just on the day. It's what happens. We both know they know their shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Demolanta. It's Demolanta.
I apologize.
Okay. No, not your fault. Everybody's been saying it wrong. Nikki corrected me finally.
I say it right. I always have. Just want to point that out because I'm not everybody. Just want to say that. No, I really have, but who cares? I'm not.
In anybody's defense of saying Demolanta, it's because one of their call signs on Twitter is like Dimmy, right? It's not Demi. You would naturally pronounce that Dimmy.
Yeah, we had her on the show last week. Because I watch her Beyond the Schmoedown show. And she's like, yeah, it's Demolanta. And I was like, oh, we need to start saying it correctly. So when we had her on the show, we kept saying, we're all like, Demolanta.
Yeah.
So I was
going to say, then Andrew is very nice. So I've met him once and he did not correct me once. So
Andrew said, no, I don't correct people.
Yeah, I've never had anyone correct me. So
you should go lowercase I, and that would help that out. And that would brand it. That'd make them branded as well. Demolanta.
Oh yeah, Mr. Witt, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and thank you for your insight and answering our questions.
Thank you for calling whatever I did today insight. I appreciate it.
Well, believe it or not, you gave us a lot of it. I thought so, at least. So
for sure.
All right. Well, it's nice. It's nice getting on here and doing a little sports talk with the Schmoedown.
Yes, I love it. For me, it's the only way to talk about the Schmoedown.
Right. Right. Take it way too seriously. That's the fun thing, right?
That's the best way to do it is argue with people, tell them I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you said something bad about Adam Witt. He's 0-4, but you know what? He's great. Screw you. I'm done talking to you. You're blocked now. That's the best way to talk about it.
Make the neighbors pound on the ceiling. Wait, we're talking sports down here.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck to your faction here for the rest of this season.
Yeah, right. It's getting fun. It's getting interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Have a great day, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks for everything you do.
Adam.
Oh yeah, thank you. Adam Witt, everyone. God, I love talking to him. And like I said, it was crazy. I knew he was from Dayton, which I grew up 45 minutes from Dayton pretty much my whole life, other than a short time I lived in Houston, Texas. But yeah, to find out that he lived 20 minutes down the road at the same time as I was living, that blew my mind. But okay, everybody, we are going to we're going to just do an open discussion thing here. I've got some topics here, but we are going to backtrack because we did not get to the Lon Harris. Ohio represent. I love Adam Witt, such a great guy. So we're going to talk about the Lon Harris and the Dan Murrell match. Yeah. It was a good match as far as like competition and stuff. It was a good.
Yeah. Before, I think there's a couple controversial things you guys want to talk about. I'm actually not aware because I've been busy these days. Just one thing I want to mention is, and I'm sorry for this. This is personal and not personal at the same time, and I usually don't lose my nerve. But what the fuck are you doing, Lon? What the fuck? The multiple choice doesn't make a difference. You would have won. You would have gave a point to your faction. This is why your faction is in the bottom. Not only just you, but get your shit together and learn the game.
Wow.
Okay.
Y'all really trying not to get nominated for Podcast of the Year, huh?
Yeah.
Just get all the hate. You're gonna get nominated, Jay and Frenchie. Don't worry about it. But go ahead, Jay.
I didn't realize he felt that strongly about it. And that's fine, dude. Hey, man, as long as nothing terrible.
I was harsh, and I'm not usually harsh. It takes a lot, but I've been seeing every time I see him, there's always something off more and more. Like he doesn't give a crap, and there's jokes and this and that. It just, for me, it's like I feel bad for Winston. Winston like has good compliments and everything, but at the same time, it's like you could have won the match, and it's a simple philosophy. You don't know, you don't want a 2-point steal, just do it. And, here and there, it's okay. But there's like these little lacks in Lon Harris's game that never gets fixed because he doesn't seem to want to take the time to fix them and understand the strategy. And again, it's important for factions. Money is on the line. Pride is on the line. And I don't know, man. It just I've seen him go this downhill this season that I just couldn't hold it in. Again, I'm really sorry, Lon. I'm not usually like this, and I'm sorry. Winston, just it's frustrating as a fan, as someone that if I would have the chance and the knowledge skill to be able to play the game, I would give my all to understand how I could bring my faction the most I can, and not just we're not first. No, you're not. Like stop it.
Yeah, no, very, very fair points from Frenchie there, and I mean, I'll be honest, I felt the same way about Alon all season. It feels something is definitely off. I do get the impression at times, and more times than not, that he just kind of, I hate to say doesn't care, but he's not as invested as he should be for being in the Schmoedown. We'll put it that way. And another thing is, I wonder. And this is not a slight or not a slight, but this is not a knock on anyone. But I honestly wonder how many players in the Schmoedown, the attitude toward them is like, and we're talking about Lon Harris right now, so I'll just say Lon as an example. But it's Lon. Yes, he's looking off. He maybe doesn't care as much. He's joking around when he could have won and he could bring points to the faction. Everything Frenchie just said. But I wonder how, and not just Lon, but how many players' an attitude toward them is, but it's Lon, or it's Murrell, or it's so-and-so, where it's like, yeah, I like Lon, Murrell, and so too, but this is a competition, and damn it, you're here to win. You're here to help your faction, and nothing is, it's not personal to point out that people seem like they don't care or people aren't as invested as they should be. It's not personal to point that stuff out. I agree with everything Frenchie said, his observations and whatnot. I've wondered those same things myself.
So I was gonna say, with your thoughts on like people saying like, "Oh, it's lawn," I feel like from an audience perspective, that comes down to more how you view it. So like, obviously, the whole point of this show and your perspective and Frenchie's perspective, and to an extent, everyone's perspective who's here to discuss is the sports angle, right? This is a competition. There is money on the line. Statistically, I don't think they can win anymore, even if they won every match left. But the point being, you started out with money on the line. Some people are here more so for the entertainment value of it, and you can't say he doesn't at least try to entertain every time he shows up. So I think that's where that aspect comes from with certain people, where it's like the real rejects, right? They've never been players who are putting up the best performances even when they win. They have the legitimate look like, oh shit, we won, really? But they're entertaining. So people don't really seem to have a problem that, despite the fact they're in the hole with like a -5 record, they keep coming back to play because they make it fun while they're there. I think lawn very much falls into that. So if you're not a fan who's coming at it with a hard sports look, you might not care as much.
And I had an issue with real rejects too, but it's
Fair.
I have to admit it's what? Yeah, sorry,
French, not at you. Just getting me thinking about the whole
yeah.
Alba not taking it serious whatsoever really gets me. But go ahead. Sorry.
For me, it's kind of the same way. But me, like it was that one moment, right? But for me, Ilan has been progressive, and it's always his post-interview matches that really get me. Like it's I don't know. I mean, you got a partner and a manager that gives blood, sweat, and tears to try to prep you, and you don't learn from your mistakes, and you do this almost self-deprecating jokes about your own faction. I don't know. I maybe I don't get his humor, and I just don't get the character. I'm not sure if is the person or not, and it's part of his character, but I'm strong on learning from your mistakes. I'm strong on giving your all, and you put your heart into something, you rip out your heart and you freaking do it. And it just, he's starting to really piss me off. It's the last of my rant. I'm sorry. I'm going.
Do you think his character has had a negative impact? The switch to a character that the whole point is he doesn't care. Oh, I'm where? Do you think that has actually hurt him in real performance?
Yes, it was fun at the beginning. It got weird in the middle, and now it's getting frustrating.
Yeah. I'm going to kick it to Shug here in just 1 second, but I do want to say we were, and I'm not going to, in this we were going to bring up a comment, read a comment that was in the Facebook group, and now that the more I think of, I wanted to address it because I think it was just way out of hand and way off. And too far, way too far. But actually, that's all I'm going to say about it, and that's all we're going to say about that specific comment. So those of you who know what I'm talking about, there was a comment on Facebook. I'm not pleased with that comment. I think it was ridiculous and way too far. But we'll get Shug here in 1 second. I'm sorry, SG's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, so I just wanted to respond to Leo Logan's comment with the why couldn't Lon have gone to multiple choice. He says it had shades of Collins Meyer Part 1 last year when Meyer missed that Tanya question that went to sudden death. The difference between that match and this match, though, was that match, that was question 1 of his round 2, where he didn't know what his score would be. This is the last question of round 2. You know you're up by 2 points at this point. If you go to you know that if you go to multiple choice, whether or not it's stolen, you'll keep the lead. So I think it's a much different circumstance than Meyer, who at the time was down by I think 7 points or so, and didn't know if he was going to go perfect for the rest of the match. So he, thought the best call was to swing. Now, in retrospect, apparently that wasn't the best call, and that's why I went to sudden death, kind of the same way this one is. But I think this was a much more strategic mistake than the Meyer move.
It's his comment after. He said, it's useless to go to multiple choice. It's not like he swung for the fences. He just didn't see the point. And this is...
No, I get it. I completely agree, dude. It's
Yeah.
like a fucking quarterback giving up. It's like a pitcher giving up. It's like, dude, you do not give up until you do every possible thing that you can pull out of your ass until the time limit of the competition is up. And that means polling the multiple choice. But I'm sorry, Suge, what are your thoughts on this match?
I mean, look, I said it a while ago, and I didn't get killed for it because, whatever reason. But I said, when did we decide Lon Harris was actually good? He's never actually shown that. Let's be honest. He's never. I mean, there was I think Andrew, when me and Andrew got in this argument, he said one time, well, he almost got to the championship and he lost and yada yada yada. Well,
I was pretty much agreeing with you. I was not expecting him to beat Dan Murrell, and he could have beat Dan Murrell, which I don't think any of us really thought was a possibility. So
I mean, yeah, but it's shout out to Corey Cameron and Dagan. In any game of Schmoedown, you can beat anybody. You just get the right questions. But Lon Harris has never been it's not like how Andrew DiMolanta was 0-2 in Star Wars, but you could see glimpses of okay. And then when he started playing, you're like, oh wait a minute, he's a different dude now. Lon Harris has never done that. Lon Harris has always been a middle of a pack player, and I always give him benefit of the doubt. And I know you hate that, Joe Wade, giving benefit of the doubt, but I will. Sometimes in things in life, there's things going on behind the scenes you may not know about. Cool. And I had the same issue when Greg Algaba talked about, when he did his interview, was like, hey, this and that. I have more important things to do. That's fine. But if you're going to commit to this, commit, even if you don't study. Things happen. I understand. But when you show up for the match, play your hardest. And that's all. As fans, that's all we ask about. That's all we ask. Yep. And I've gotten into it with people and people saying, well, you don't, there's this, that, players should. Okay, so then why am I here as a fan then? You're telling me to support you and cheer for you because I think you're giving it your all, but then you're telling me, I don't give my all, but I still want you to cheer for me, but I don't want you to say anything to me. That's just dumb. Why I'm the mindset, I say whatever I want. And I always quote this when I say it. Rachel Christie said it best. If you can't say it to a player's face, don't say it at all. Let me tell you something. I'll say it to every single damn one of you players, competitors, backstage, Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis. I do not care. I'm going to give you my opinion, and that's my opinion. If you don't like it, if it's wrong, I don't know what to tell you. That's just life. Lon Harris has been a player in this league. He knows what it's about. If he doesn't care, that's fine, but you're taking up a spot for somebody that does. And people talk about, well, there's somebody that's out there in the FCL. There's somebody that's watching this show. There's somebody that watches the Schmoedown that is willing to put the time and effort in to play, and you're taking that spot for them by not putting that effort in. I'm sorry. That's a harsh. I know, we try not to shit on the competitors, but that's the truth. So if you're not going to play and you're playing for other people, look, the Den, they suck this year. We know that. They're in sixth place or something like that. We know that. But you know what? They all played for each other. They showed up. When Saul lost his match against Robert Parker, they were all there to support him. Okay, he gave it his all. That I can appreciate. Even if you lose, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But when you do this thing where like Aaron said, oh well, where am I? What am I doing? Okay, it's funny at first, but now it's not. Like even if you don't want to take it seriously, if you want to play your characters, cool. Like you're in the match, you know how the gameplay works. Why are you playing like you don't? If you don't want to be here, just say it. You should have told us, don't put me in the tournament. I don't want to play. I don't want to do it.
That's what I think is the funny thing is you talk about how the gameplay works. I was talking with Jay before the show yesterday, and we were talking about how there are certain people in the league, and especially this, people might call this thing a rookie mistake, yet this is not a mistake that a rookie would make because they know the gameplay better than a lot of these people who should have been in the league and know how kind of things work. It's almost like there's such a thing as a veteran mistake.
And yeah exactly. And I want to just thank Shug and Andrew to recap it exactly what I was trying to say without the swear words or yelling. But it's exactly what I meant. It's there's a lot of people out there that wants to take this seriously. And again, like you said, ASG, this is no longer a rookie. When you're a rookie, you are a hardcore most of the time, or if you're not a hardcore, they're usually willing to study and learn every nook and cranny to not make those mistakes, aka Harper, right? So you were in this level of Schmoedown that these kind of things just brings the game down. That again, is he the worst player of all time? No. Is he a bad player? I don't find. Is he a good player? Yes. But how? Like, can someone answer me? How long has he been in the Schmoedown now?
Since season 3 or 4.
Exactly, and his strategy.
I think end of 3.
And I haven't seen any strategy from him. So at one point, he doesn't suck. Yeah, I'm now more aware a bit more of the whole Facebook thing, and shame on people to bring down person. Shame on them to take it personally. This is coming from a gameplay aspect and a faction aspect, but no one should ever attack him personally. But he should, if he wants to continue in Schmoedown, he should revise what he's about to do. Because if he gives us another season like this and mistakes like this, he's taking away the opportunity for someone who really wants to elevate the game, not just coast by the game.
So I was going to say, because I don't know if you wanted to move on, can I bring up one last small thing? Just as and I completely agree with you guys, but like with the last thing, I'm thinking of like devil's advocate things just to kind of get your take on it. Do you guys think his health may have had any small little effect on his performance? Because we know that he was sick enough to a point where they actually canceled this match originally. It was supposed to be done live at the Cantina. And in his last teams match, you could see he was audibly sick. He was like coughing and sniffling. It was all coming through on the mic. From what I remember, that wasn't as bad with the match. Like, he didn't sound as sick as he had previously. But do you think that would have had any other effect on it, or do you think it is just the overall deterioration of his gameplay?
I think it's overall. Sorry, I haven't talked the whole match at all, just to go on this fast. I think it's overall because look at Marek Nopik versus Rachel Kutching. They were completely out of it. The most people would have just cried and crumbled in a fetus position, and they went into how many overtime rounds, right? So. You look at Roka, what he did in the live event, right? Yeah. He was out of it. And is he gonna have the best game in the world? No, but is it a factor? Maybe. Is it a reason to let go of things? Not necessarily, because there's people in the past that have gone through that and still showed up, win or not, still showed up and didn't, do the same mistakes they always do.
Well, I think Lon did know the answers very well. So in terms of that aspect of being sick, so that's a thing that I'll say he did know his trivia knowledge very well during this match. So the question I'm only thinking of is, at the end of last year / beginning of this year, there was talk, we're going to add a timeout. And this is something that before this question, they could have, if the timeout existed, been able to use that timeout and tell him, if you're not 95% sure, check the multiple choice because you have a 2-point lead.
I'm not even going to respond to that at all.
Yeah, we only have 5 minutes. 5 minutes left, and this is like an hour conversation.
Sorry.
One thing,
you got 5 minutes left. Good Lord.
Time flies when you're having fun and you're.
I thought we go till 1:30.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I don't run the show.
Players, I've noticed. Not just in this, but it also you also got to think the vets. Lana's a vet of this Schmoedown here. So as the Schmoedown is progressing, and we all know the question writing is getting harder, but as the game progresses, it's kind of like he's just staying on par. He's not progressing with the Schmoedown. It's not just him. And it's not, and again, it's not personal against anyone. But I mean, Riley seems like one of those also who has not kept up with the game as it's progressed. And there are some of those vets who, if this were still 3-4 years ago, they would still be on top, but They haven't progressed with the game.
And you see, just for that fact, this is why I find Schmoedown as a sport. You have to evolve or die. You have to get better or not be in the league anymore. This is why like other people come in and push the game. So for me, that's the definite reason why Schmoedown is a sport.
Hold on, ASG, hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know I have to counter that. My counter to that for me personally is, again, this shit ain't nothing. I hate that I have to be like, this isn't personal. That's so fucking stupid to have to say that shit. But I feel the need to, again, for the 30th fucking time, this isn't personal, but and I'm just going to say it, no one specific, just in general, until officials stop intentionally and knowingly accepting wrong answers and giving away points for them, no, it's not a sport. That's my opinion.
Okay. And I just wanted to push back against the Riley thing, because he did win his last match against Lieutenant Miller. I thought he looked pretty well in this old guard match. Just, they were kind of out. Horowitz is just a beast right now.
He is.
Well, we're gonna now go till 1:30 because I'm gonna argue with Jay now. Because look, you can say this isn't a sport, fine, but it is sports entertainment. I think that's the best way to describe it, because there is sports aspect, but there's also the wrestling aspect. There is the character work aspect, and I think there is where the problem is, because there's people that take it serious as a sport, like me, you, Jay, but then there's people that take it as the entertainment value. Might be somebody like Matt on Spin from the Real, Chris on Spin from the Real, Jeff from Schmoedown Money. You take it as different ways. And when you say, and I get what you're trying to say, like, well, it's not personal, but it is kind of personal, because imagine if somebody was saying about you and saying, speaking of Schmoedown, it's a crappy freaking podcast. I don't know why anybody watches it, but I'm glad they do it. Like that's
their opinion. If that's their opinion, then I have absolutely no problem with it.
No, but I'm saying if they're looking,
the fact that wrong answers have been knowingly accepted, nonchalant, like oh, close enough.
But that's that's your opinion, Jay.
No,
Jay,
that's
your
fact.
opinion. It's not a fact, because there's benefit of doubt. There's benefit of doubt. I know you're gonna get crazy and upset about it, but that's the truth. We know what you mean sometimes when people. I remember I argued against this, Jay. I am on your side, but you can't sit here and say, well, they're just giving points away, so that takes. That's not true. You know that there's rules in place that they go by, and that's
I see nowhere in the rule book where it says that I can know that the answer was wrong. I can know that the movie you gave me as an answer does not exist, but I'm still going to give you the point anyway.
But you're overlooking some facts, Jay. You're trying to say they're giving the wrong answer, but you know that the answer they give is a title of a movie. It's just not written correctly.
Where is Raya the Last Dragon?
Raya the Last Dragon. Is there another movie that has Raya in it? Is there another movie? Jay, is there another movie that has Raya in it?
No.
Okay, so we know she's talking about Raya and
the Last Dragon. It's not Raya the Last Dragon.
But Jay, there's no movie.
Was talking about Kate Blanchett.
Jade, we know there's no other movie that says Raya in it that's come out this year.
So what? The right answer is the right answer. Trivia is about asking a question and getting the answer right. There is only one right answer, dude.
Jay, I understand that, but this again, where it becomes sports and entertainment. Because it's not, because as a sport, yes.
That's what I mean. Until officials stop knowingly accepting wrong answers, that to me is not a sport, dude.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. The Dodgers beat the Giants on a check swing, right? Human error, right? They won on a check swing, human error. So is baseball not a sport because they knowingly got the call wrong?
No, that was a bad call, dude.
So that's what it is. It's a bad call, Jay. It happens in sports.
There's a huge difference between an umpire calling a strike a ball and an umpire knowing that a strike was a ball but calling it a strike anyway.
Jay, there's not a huge difference because that just cost the team the season the other day.
There is a huge difference between knowingly making a bad call and making a fuck up.
How does Mark Ellis know that he's making in that moment a bad call?
Yeah.
Are you there? Are you there, Jay?
Well, I'm there to hear that
Jay, are you there at the moment? Jay, are you there at the moment?
No.
In the moment, he has to make a judgment call. That is a human error. It happens. You can't get mad at a human error. You can be upset about it. You can get mad. Actually, I take that back. You can absolutely be mad about it. You can absolutely be mad about a human error. But in the moment, it happens. You can't be now. Oh well, it's not a sport anymore because
I'm telling you that Rams player mauled that Saints player in the NFC Championship game. Still a sport.
Yeah.
Even though
I get where you're coming from, Jay. Jay, I am on your side 100%. I'm not trying to. I'm not doing this to be a dick to you. I'm on your side. I'm on your side to be 100%. But I'm saying you got to look at it from. And what I was trying to tie this into is sometimes we don't know what goes on behind the scenes with players and what's going on with their lives. So it is tough to tell the player, well, are you giving it your all? We don't know. We honestly don't know. We don't know what's going on. Look at. I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody, I dread it when I watched that Saul match. I watched it live. I was there. When I knew that happened, I was like, Jesus Christ, people are gonna go after Saul and be like, "What? You don't even belong in this league." Da 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 da. I was worried because I was like, they're gonna question everything, but you don't know what happened that day. So it's hard to make us from fans look at something and be like, well, this is the way I see it, and that's how it should be. You don't know. You don't know. Aaron said. Lon might have been sick, but here to me is where he should have stepped up and said, you know what, I'm sick. I don't think I can perform well. Maybe I just give up the match, or maybe I shouldn't play because I don't think I can win under these conditions because I'm not feeling myself. You sometimes have to be the bigger person to do that. Because now we're all sitting here questioning him, saying, well, is he even good? Is he even taking it seriously? He might be taking it seriously. People think differently. People have their minds work differently. People think I don't take shit seriously half the time, and I take everything seriously. ASG knows I take everything seriously, but sometimes the way I speak, sometimes the way I act, I don't. It looks like I don't take things seriously. That's just it. We just don't know, and so right. I'm saying let's pump the brakes. And I get where Frenchie's coming from because as a fan, you want the best performance, you want the best from people, but let's pump the brakes on going at people like that, but also too constructive criticism. Frenchie saying, look, you should know the game by now. You're a veteran. That's constructive criticism. Like what the person said in Facebook, talking all, Lon Harris is a loser, Winston sucks, this and that. That's not constructive criticism. And that shouldn't be tolerated. That should not be in the Schmoedown. That shit's bullshit. But if you want to have constructive criticism and say, you know what, Lon should know the game. He should have done this. Maybe should have, used his JTs, whatever you want to say. That's okay to say. I'm just saying, always make sure either to find the story or be like, or like Aaron said, devil's advocate. Maybe his health wasn't the best. That's why he played the way he did. So that's all I'm saying. Right
on. And hey, man. So everyone listening or watching knows, I love you, Suge. I'm not mad.
Oh no, I know. Oh, you should hear me and ASG. We get in the worst fights.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, this actually makes me want to do a special with just me and you and just going at it like that.
Whenever.
Just run down a list of topics, dude, and go at it. I would love to. But this right here will be the final say because it is my show. The last thing I'm going to say on all this is when no matter who the official is, I don't care who it is. When they have the answer written down on their screen, they see the words written before them, and the answer given is not what they have written as the answer. That is a wrong answer. On that note, everyone, thank you very much. Look out for that special with me and Suge. I'm for real about that. That's going to happen if he wants to. I'm totally down. So, but this has been a great episode. Thank you to Adam Witt. Next week, guys, we've got Nancy Rodriguez and Dagan will be on here as co-hosts, and Paige for Betty will be our guest. Just off of her big match, her big teams match with her and McWeenie. So it'll be fun. Okay, everybody, have a great and safe week. Thank y'all very much for joining us here on Speaking of Schmoedown. Later. You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.